Right, here we go. So I was just having my dinner and I checked out YouTube and I wanted to see what kind of nonsense is going on the internet again. And one of my favorite places to go to is Fresh and Fit podcast. They can just do some they just do some weird shenanigans and bring all sorts of characters and just chat all sorts of crap, and it's just hilarious. Honestly, it's pure entertainment, and big up them for what they're doing, and in terms of like the numbers they're bringing and the guests and the conversations they're generating, because generally we want to speak about these things. But here's one of their little bits. I'm just gonna comment on a couple minutes of it, just to give a flavor of it. Feel free to watch it in your own time as well later.
A girl going in Kansas City, it's like getting flown out to Dubai.
Yeah, she is.
Flown around
So
the
it's a
world.
little
Maybe
snippet.
like girls here want to be with the average man.
I know here?
Right, let's start again. Here.
30, 40, 50?
Holy.
You genuinely think that the girls here want to be with the average man?
I know
I know you've seen the Courtney Ryan videos, and don't equate this like, oh, Miami girls are different.
They step back out of necessity.
They're from all
point.
different places of the earth. You're saying that it's just Miami, but how much do you really think that they want to settle down with the average guy? We can do it right now. And I'm gonna,
No, it's a dumb question because nobody wants average. Like even an average guy, given like the opportunity, wouldn't want the average woman.
I
Everybody
think a lot
wants
of
above
average guys
average.
would be happy
But I think
with
there
an
are a
average.
lot of, if you go talk to normal people outside of like the world of
That's
YouTube
true.
and shit,
Look, there's one thing for sure. You can't blame people for not wanting to be with average people, for wanting to be with people who are above average themselves. We all we all want better, men or women. We don't need to kind of create like hostility with women because of that nonsense. This is just childish bullshit, right? This is just internet, right? The beauty of internet is this: you got teenagers who grow up like on the internet, being engaged in it, like Sneeko, right? The guy in the glasses. He kind of like even looks like Andrew Tate with the glasses right now. It's beautiful, right? So he's really inspired by Andrew Tate, which is great, right? I'm all for inspiration, but yeah, it's just these men grow up, never really grow up. They don't really grow up. They just stay as teenagers with all this reflection from the internet, so they kind of like learn how to hate opposite sex, right? That's what we learn from young age, is not to dislike the opposite sex for not giving us what we want, right? But anyway,
there are lots of average men with average women. Most people date and marry within their class, within their education, within their race, within their geographic region. That happens like 95% of people around the world. Like, yeah, of course,
Most people do.
Marriage rates decline for a whole bunch of reasons that don't have to do with the one-dimensional analysis
This is
of
pretty
a
much the
woman
reason.
the celebrity one time on Instagram and now she won't go back
Well, it's
with another guy.
not just the celebrity thing, but it's all of hypergamy. That's why there's less marriage. People are like, don't know how to settle.
Hypergamy has nothing to do with marriage. You're playing the game again where you're saying one guy f***s a lot of women, it seems one guy dates a lot of women. Hypergamy doesn't keep women out of the
It's
dating
bigger than
market.
just the celebrity thing. It's Tinder, it's social media. People think that they have so many options now because of our phone. It's
That
not
goes
Somewhat
for men,
true.
too.
Okay, news.
what he's trying to say is, due to kind of very primal way of how sort of a female animal operates. Yeah, when I say female animal, that's like basically all mammals, monkeys and other sort of a lot of mammals. They operate in a way of hypergamy, which means that they always are looking for the best male they can get. So that's like a biggest male. That's what hypergamy means. So he's trying to kind of use that sort of biological feature to say that is the reason, that combined with the internet is the reason that it's really, really hard for people to date and to have fruitful relationships right now. Which maybe is probably somewhat true, right? It's definitely not completely untrue. It's definitely somewhat true, but to what extent it's true, and to what extent it has power over our lives, that is the question.
Flash, because men don't know this, women have always had a lot of options.
Always.
Since the year zero,
Always.
every single
Yes.
woman
Not
has been
true at all.
offered by every single guy they talk to.
No,
Yes.
now they
Since
talk to
you're,
1,000
until you're,
guys a
that
day.
doesn't matter. Since you're
Yeah.
11 years old,
You
you've
and
got
your
guys that are
homeboys.
hitting on you constantly.
Yeah.
No, hold on. Men see Tinder today, and they're like, oh my God, a woman can open her phone and find 100 guys to... Bro, in 1980, a woman could walk outside and find 100 guys to... It's not new.
No, you're right. However, there's skill. Before, they have to go outside and find the guys. Now they could be in their home,
on a plane. And nigga, it's like, for example, in this case, the skill is different. It's global. Versus
It's not global for 99% of people. A girl going in Kansas City is not getting flown out to Dubai.
Yes, she is, bro.
No.
Nigga, today.
You guys are wild.
I
You
guarantee
guys are
somebody can
wild.
tonight.
You're coping, man.
Hold on, I just want to hear, for the record,
Yeah.
for you three to answer this,
Uh-oh.
what percentage of college women do you think are being flown around the world? I want to hear
little.
from all
If
three
I had
of
to
you.
Very
argue,
little.
I want to hear.
off of like probability wise, if I argue, maybe like 30, 40, 50.
Holy
Not at
sh-
all.
I
That's
wanna
a
hear
high number.
for you-
That's
for you
a
two.
high number.
Let
Yeah,
me-
no, let him answer.
So I can answer this question properly.
Uh-huh.
Does she live on campus and she's a college student?
Yeah.
Then she's going to go ahead and settle for the top guys on her college campus.
Okay, so geography class. So the thing I said earlier. What if she's staying at home? Yeah, I said that people tend to date within their
But you got to
region.
remember, a typical university is going to have kids from all over the country.
Okay, say
of
it's a
different-
state school in Iowa. Are those girls getting flown to Dubai?
Off season, they can be.
Okay, 30, 40%? Is that what you said?
Well, globally speaking, but I'm just saying, like, for example, if
That, you understand that's the actual number is like less than 0.1%, right?
Are girls
Probably.
getting flown out?
Of girls getting flown out to guys from normal
Very
girls.
little.
Very little.
It's very little.
Very
I'm from Vegas and now in Miami, and I've never done that.
Have you ever been flown out?
Motherfuckers
no.
are
You've never been flown out?
Right.
We, Destiny,
So yeah, so so these guys that run the podcast, own the podcast, have their own Twitch streams. The type of women they go for are sort of a type of woman that would have an OnlyFans, right? Not that there's anything wrong with having an OnlyFans, but it's a different type of a girl. That's say your girl next door, or your sort of average small town girl, right? It's just different types. It's different sort of value systems they have, and just different things they really appreciate about life. And for a lot of women in the world in general, selling something sexual seems completely off, and it's like they say, and in their experience they would never do something like that, right? So one can argue when presented the opportunity, yada yada. I don't know about that, I can't comment on that, but that's what I heard, and that's what I've seen, pretty realistic. So for them to fly out to somebody who messages them on Instagram, even if he looks rich, is still very weird, and they don't feel quite right about it, and often just scared, like what is going to happen, what if what if something, like what if she doesn't want to be with him intimately and he forces himself on her. There's so many, or even worse, there's so many crazy stories and stuff, like really I don't think many women go for that. Now some do, right? Absolutely, some do, right? That there's been these Reddit exposés and stuff, but they think it's like 30% of college girls, right? Which is like 1 in 3. God. It's just like the reality they live in is different to the reality that most other people live in. Then they're on their internet pushing their reality and their pain and their skewed worldview onto the others, and then others buy into that, like normal people, and then they buy into that, and then they treat other people with the same kind of vibe, and then it just creates just more and more and more turmoil and disagreements. Yeah, so it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work, right? So great work for creating the podcast, great work for bringing the guests, the guys, the women, if that helps them to get the views or whatever else they're there for, because most of them just sit quietly or answer something, and then one of these guys just shouts at them because they're wrong in their opinion.
I don't think the point here. I
lie.
don't think the important thing here is to
lie.
establish of girls getting flown out. It's that the opportunity is there, and on top of that, if you're going to use college girls, for example, right? Because I've talked about this with college campuses, etc. Most of the women gravitate towards the highest status men. Who are these guys? The
For
fraternity
sex.
guys and the sports guys.
For sex, not for dating. The top guys aren't dating all the women.
Yeah,
No,
the
Here's
thing
the
is, they
thing.
think
They want that guy,
want
and
it.
they think they can date that guy.
Yeah.
So it's difficult for them to go
Right.
backwards when they have an influx of options. Here's the thing.
Oh, go ahead. Finish.
Here's the thing. So I get what you're saying, that, girls have been getting hit on since the 80s and everything else like that. The difference is scale, right? So if a girl has a basic internet profile, right, and she's somewhat attractive and has some Instagram or maybe even a Tinder or a Bumble, etc., she is going to have hundreds, if not thousands of options.
That's true.
Whereas 20, 30 years ago,
That's
before
true.
the advent of social
That's
media
true.
and the internet, she would have had to go outside to get that same level. She would have
That's
had to put
true.
herself together, go to a nightclub, put herself in a social situation,
Absolutely.
etc. But nowadays, she could sit at home, put some pictures up, and get the same level of attention, if not 10 times more, from men all over the country, all over the world.
All over the
am I
world.
saying that every girl's going to bite on it and actually get flued out by some blue star,
No.
a blue check rapper? No. But that goes a lot to her psyche as to, okay, I'm getting hit up by this caliber of man.
So first of all, yes, he's absolutely correct. Like, if you want to test that, just create like a fake, take a couple pictures from Instagram, from the internet, and create an Instagram profile, and just go and like some people's pictures and follow some people, and you will start getting floods of messages and guys just like being all, you know, like kinky shit. I tried this out once and it was fucking weird. Honestly, the pictures weren't even of the same girl. They were like a bit off, but still had dark hair, and man, it's really sad. And then some were like, "Are you real? Are you real? Please be real." Like this kind of shit. Just like, bro. From all over the world, some like Arab countries, like some Latin countries, people messaging in all sorts of languages, sending stuff and videos, selfies, like just going at it. Like, I don't know what it shows, either how silly people are, how uneducated, or how lonely and desperate they are that they want to believe that something is real like that. And I didn't even do anything, right? It's just like, yeah, would never try. But some people actually try to like scam people by pretending to be women. Even in video games, it's like a common thing to play a female character and to be like, "Ooh, can you buy me this weapon?" Or jewelry and shit. Guys have been thirsty since the dawn of time. And I guess it just now recorded in history, right? Like the internet, everything's recorded so we can see the effects of it. And I think maybe it's a bit like, oh shit, what the fuck are we doing?
I probably deserve this caliber of man to some degree. This is why most women nowadays don't want to date average guys. They
The
just
standards
don't.
have been raised, and you know that. Social media has
No, the
raised
standards have been
for all
raised, but
women.
for a totally different reason.
And let me
It's
say
nothing
one
to
other
do
thing
with social
too.
media.
Here's the other part of it. So they're
Okay, so what they're saying is, because of all this availability, in that even your average girl, previously being in a small town, would only see, you know, whatever, 100 guys around her, she would go for like best 1 or best 5 or best 10 of them. Now that in having access to all the world and getting all these messages from all the men from all the world, now she's getting access to like, you know, 100,000, whatever, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 people. And then if she even selects the same percentage of that, you know, top 5, top 20, top 1%, it's still like another 1,000 people. So her standards are now like thinking like, oh my god, there's like thousands of these dream guys available, when there was only like one dream guy in her town. Now there's like 1,000 of these dream guys available to her. And so because of that, she's less likely, they're saying that because of that, she's less likely to date your average guy, right? Like with a, I don't know, a construction job, or some basic university degree in some, I don't know, accounting work, or some simple sales job or something like that, right? That's kind of what that's what they're saying.
getting attention on the internet. Now here's the second part of it. Right? I'm writing a whole book about this shit. Feminism. Women make their own money now.
He shouldn't write
that's the
books.
reason. Not
He
the
should just stay with the podcast.
The working is way more.
It's a two-pronged thing. It's a multivariate situation. But feminism is also a large component, because with feminism, women make their own money. So they no longer have to saddle themselves with a loser that could provide, because they could provide it themselves. So if I can make my own money, and I want men as a choice, not necessarily a necessity like 50 years ago, I'm going to pick
Best
the
option.
best I can absolutely get,
Yeah.
and not settle for less, which is why a lot of women feel as though I make 100 grand per year, I'm attractive, I get attention, I want a top tier caliber guy. This is where a lot of women stand.
Sure. So, firstly, the average, like, decently hot chick on a college campus does not have guys from all over the world.
Right. So yeah, what he said is also because of feminism, because of equal rights, and because of how we sort of built a Western world infrastructure and everything, it's pretty safe. And so compared to how before women had to stay at home pretty much because they really couldn't work, because a lot of the jobs were very, very intense physically. Now there's so many jobs available that are not physically intense, that are more mentally intense, and pretty much, you know, it seems like women are fully capable to perform on the same level as men, even better than men in some positions, and it all just varies individual to individual, right? But it's pretty much equal now. There's still people complaining, but it looks like, you know, a woman who is fully committed to getting a career in whatever field, finance, engineering, doctor, some other office job, sales, whatever, recruitment. If she's committed, she's getting it. It just looks like it, right? Now, I don't have stats or data to confirm that, but just from my observation, I'm in London, right? If you walk through the city, head office jobs, like, it's not quite equal in some environments, but there are plenty of women, all different sort of character types as well. Some are a bit more relaxed, some a bit more aggressive and tough, and all sorts. So people manage, like women manage to get jobs. Obviously, because of that, they have salaries, and then they're less dependent on a man for providing them with food, right? Really simple. So they're a bit more picky in who they choose, and often they want to date someone who is earning at least the same as them, or a little bit more, so they can have the same lifestyle, so they don't have to compromise or treat the man, because they're if they kind of look after the man, often what happens is women lose attraction to, so they want to stay attracted physically, so they want someone same or a little bit above or a lot above, or whatever they can find in that environment. And there's a lot of different parameters that play into that, so it's not like all kind of black and white. It's gray area, but yeah, like it's people want always better things. That's just common. It's just normal common sense. It's just human nature to want better things for themselves. So he's not really saying anything that's out of ordinary.
DMs. That's an exceptional person. That's not the average person.
She does.
That's not the average person.
I don't know DMs.
It's not the average. You guys are only seeing like the people that are reaching out to the shows, or the people that are trying to blow their shit up.
Basically, they just keep on arguing about the same thing. They're saying this is what's happening because of feminism and social media. Women are entitled. I put quotes, right? Entitled, and they don't want to date the average guy. Yet these guys are not average, and maybe one of the reasons is because they're so scared that they're gonna date, so they really push themselves there, which is great, right? Like a lot of men become successful just for women, just to get women. And Destiny, the guy with the blue hair, quite funny looking, but quite cool, I guess. He's like a streamer or something. He says that, look, it's not because of that, it's different. So he's bringing a lot of common sense, and I like his confidence and energy. He's able to put his points forward in that environment where everybody is kind of often just shouting over each other, yet they do allow each other to speak a little bit. They're not really hearing each other out. It's not like they're there to actually find some truth in what they're saying or to change their mind. They're more like kind of have their own opinion and ready to shout at each other just to get the point across. But this is how sort of modern internet content is made, right? And that's what it is. So yeah, check out more of that kind of stuff. If you check out more of their content if you want to have a look, but really it's that simple. It's just this constant fight of, and look, I really respect Destiny for going on this podcast, first of all, because it's not kind of his friendly environment. He's there to kind of argue against them, yet they're both making content that's good for both of them, and they're both kind of standing for something, and Destiny wants to bring some common sense, while Fresh and Fit, they have their position. They are a little bit rooted in victimhood, right? These guys, they're a bit like victims. They're like trying to say, oh my god, men are victims, it's so hard for us men because of female nature and because of the internet. It's really hard to date now, and we're really struggling, and all the men are struggling, and then their supporters are like, yeah, it's terrible, and obviously a lot of the guys who spend a lot of the time on the internet usually are not dating that much, right? If you want a girlfriend, get off your fucking Instagram. Go out in the real world, right? But yeah, like this is what's happening. They're struggling, and then they go and see these guys say all this stuff, give evidence, and sound very confident, and this is why you're not dating. It's not because of you, but because of women. It's their fault that you don't have it, And so look, people are not taking responsibility. People are being victims, right? And again, this just ties all into that. And kind of their model of their podcast is built on this victimhood. Like the followers, I think the core followers are people who are very much victimizing themselves. The guys who are properly playing victims and blaming women for all their problems, besides, blaming them for not having girlfriends, but also blaming for other problems in the world, kind of like globally, politically, right? Even wars and stuff. And look, And so, yeah, what's really missing is leadership in this scenario. Leadership from these guys, when they have so many people looking up to them, is to actually have them own up to life and to accept life the way it is, right? And the way it isn't right now. And then if you want to build a different future, you got to first be responsible for what you have right now. And that's one of the key precepts and principles I have in my teaching, right? Is responsibility. Responsibility is power. Okay, it gives you power to transform, power to create, power to bring something that wasn't there previously, right? And if we want to build a different world, a better world, it starts with responsibility, right? Not with complaining and shouting at each other just for content and views, and then bringing beautiful women on the show who don't really have much to say because, their main focus on their life has been on their looks, right? They're not necessarily maybe even very confident to put their ideas forward, maybe not well versed linguistically to actually explain them really well. But they got nice hairs and eyelashes and stuff, and that's what they spend their time on, not reading books or sort of discussing ideas and finding out theories and all that stuff. So yeah, it's just an unfair battle, really. You got to build in, bring some women who have some sort of academia or some sort of knowledge and power to back up what they're gonna say. It's gonna be a whole different conversation, and there are women like that, plenty. It's just they're not on this podcast. Yeah. Anyway, great to see you guys. Subscribe, like, share, comment, and I'll see you next time.